I am Tamara, and I guess you could say I am a widow. Although it has been a year since my husband passed away, it's one of the things I call myself. It is a title I never thought I would carry, but the universe has this sneaky way of changing the course of your life when you thought you had your shit figured out. Travis and I were head over heels in love, the kind you read about in sappy novels. Our love story kicked off back in college, where we were busy figuring out love and life all at once. Now Travis, he was something else. A charmer with a killer smile that could brighten up even the gloomiest day. We were that couple everyone secretly envied. Life was good and we believed we had all the time in the world. Let us backtrack a bit and talk about Travis's background. Travis had a tough upbringing. His dad passed away when he was just a little guy, leaving a hole in his heart that could never quite be filled. His mum, Carolina, well, she's a character, and I use that term generously. Instead of being there for Travis when he needed her most, she was off chasing her own love stories. Travis was practically invisible to her. Here is the thing. Travis's mum, the woman who should have been there for her son, was anything but supportive. She had remarried a wealthy man called Frederic, who lived in a whole different world. She cut ties with Travis like he was a pesky fly, focusing solely on her new husband's riches and the lavish lifestyle they offered. Frederic had bought her own house and 2 cars, amongst many other things. Travis reached out to her, hoping to keep some connection alive. But she treated him like an inconvenience. It was as if she had upgraded her life and had no room for her own flesh and blood anymore. It hurt, watching Travis grapple with her indifference. Now, let's go to when Travis proposed to me. We had a very stable and secure life, and the timing could not have been better. When Travis popped the question, I thought it would be a good idea for us to visit his mum and share the news in person. After all, she was still his mother, and he deserved the chance to tell her himself. It felt like a moment that could potentially mend their broken relationship. So off we went to her fancy mansion, hearts full of hope. But when we stood at her doorstep, she could not have cared less. Travis might as well have been a stranger. She barely acknowledged us, let alone the incredible news we had to share. It was crystal clear. She did not give a darn about us. That visit was an eye-opener, the first peek into her icy heart.
"Hey, Mum, it's me. It's been a while."
"Oh, Travis! Why are you here, and who is this?"
"This is Tamara, Mum. My fiancé."
"Nice to finally meet you, Carolina. I've heard a lot about you." Fiancé, huh? You're engaged, and that's a reason to disturb my day?"
Mum, we thought you would want to know. I've missed you."
"Missed me? Travis, it has been years. I've moved on."
"Mum, please, just hear us out. We are getting married soon, and we'd love for you to be a part of our lives. I thought it was time we tried to rebuild our relationship. We live in an apartment about half an hour away from here."
"Rebuild what exactly? Travis, I'm a busy woman. I've got a new family now and new life. I do not need reminders of my past." "We're not trying to remind you of anything, Carolina. We just thought you should know about our wedding plans." "Wedding plans? How quaint! But I've got plans of my own, dear. Plans that do not involve you or Travis. I'm so sorry, kid."
"Mum, why are you doing this? We are your family."
"Travis, I do not have time for this. My husband, Frederic, will be back soon. He's the one who matters now." Carolina's reaction cut deep. Disowning her own son, how could a mother be so selfish? Travis was crushed, and I could not help but feel his pain. But life moved forward, and Travis and I got married. Our wedding day was magical. As I walked down the aisle towards Travis, I knew I was making the right choice. We exchanged vows, promising to stand by each other through thick and thin. The first year of our married life was filled with beautiful moments. We are in the same cozy little apartment on rent. We'd been saving for a house, but an apartment seemed like a smart choice because it was just the 2 of us then. Travis, was the most loving and caring husband. He would surprise me with breakfast in bed, and every day felt like a special occasion. We created our little routines. Lazy Sunday mornings with pancakes and cuddles, and adventurous Saturday nights where we try out new restaurants. Travis had a knack for remembering the little things, like the way I took my coffee and my favourite flower. We would talk about our dreams, our future, and how we wanted to build a family together. So, our first wedding anniversary was supposed to be this magical evening. I went all out, scented candles, flowers, you name it. I was just waiting for Travis to walk through that door after work so we could dig into a fancy meal and toast to our love. But life had other plans. Instead of Travis, it was the darn phone that rang, and it was not good news. Nope, it was the police telling me that Travis had been in a car accident on his way home. All those romantic plans, all the effort I put into making it special, it all just crumbled. The dinner sat there growing cold and lonely as I rushed to the hospital with a heart full of fear. I was pacing hospital corridors, praying that Travis would be okay. The doctors delivered the heartbreaking news. There was nothing that could be done further. They gave him a day or two. It was a gut-wrenching moment. They said I could go in and talk to him one last time. As I entered his room, emotions overwhelmed me. We held hands, tears streaming down our faces. It was all in God's hands now, and I clung to the hope that a miracle might save him.
Tamara, I do not know if I'm going to make it, baby. The doctors say it's touch and go.
Trav, do not say that. You're going to pull through. You have to.
Tamara, I love you so much. Whatever happens, just promise me that you'll be happy and that you'll find love again. I could not have had a better life. Thank you.
Trav, please.
Well, there is another thing. I bought us a house.
What? A house?
It was meant to be our anniversary gift. It's a really nice one in a really lavish neighbourhood. Specifically, it's right next to my mum's place. I held on to some hope, I suppose. I thought maybe if I was right next to her, she would consider making me a part of her life again. I'm sorry, I feel like a fool now.
Oh, honey, don't be sorry. You tried.
Yes, it is yours actually. You are the owner. Do whatever feels right. I understand if you would not want a daily reminder of my mum. So you can sell it or live there. It's up to you, Tamara.
Travis, you are not going anywhere. I sat by Travis, clutching his hand tightly as tears streamed down my face. I knew I had to make that painful call to Carolina. He was her son after all, and the doctors had made it clear that Travis didn't have much time left, maybe just a day or two at most. I made the phone call to Carolina. Carolina, it's Travis's wife. I need to talk to you about Travis. He has been in a terrible accident and the doctors don't have good news. They say he may not have much time left. Oh, really? That is so sad. I'm sorry for him. I can send you the hospital address. Well, you don't know what I've been through lately. Frederic and I got a divorce. I'm sorry to hear that, Carolina, but Travis is your son and he's in critical condition. I thought you should come visit him. I have a therapist appointment, you see. I will not be able to make it. Carolina, he is your son. How can you be so cold and indifferent? He needs his mother right now. Look, Travis and I have not had a good relationship for years. He chose his path and I chose mine. I don't see why I should drop everything now just because he's in trouble. It is about his life. Don't you want to see your son one last time? I don't know. Like I said, I have a lot on my plate right now. My condolences, Samantha. I'll try to be there for the funeral. It's Tamara. You don't want to regret not being there for him when he needs you the most. I've already given my answer. Goodbye, Tamara. I could not believe that a mother could be so selfish when her son was fighting for his life. A few days later, the unimaginable happened. Travis passed away. It was a gut-wrenching moment that left me numb and lost. Surprisingly, Travis had a will in place, and he had entrusted me with making arrangements for his funeral. In his will, he had allocated some of his assets to me, which was both comforting and heartbreaking to know. Even more surprising was that he had left a decent amount of money for his mum, Carolina, and as for the new house, it was not mentioned in the will. The seller had transferred it under my name, solidifying my ownership. It was mine, completely. Dealing with Travis's passing was beyond difficult, and I found myself unable to handle the practicalities of arranging his funeral and all the necessary paperwork on my own. That is when I turned to my sister, Kelly. Without a moment's hesitation, she said she would be there to help me through it all. The day of the funeral finally came, and let me tell you, it was no picnic. The sky was all gloomy, just like our moods. Friends, family, and anyone who ever knew Travis gathered to pay their respects. It was a real tearjerker when everyone sharing stories about him, but amid all that sadness, I could not help but hope to see Carolina there. Sadly, that lady was a no-show. I could not let it ruin the day, though. Grief had enough of a grip on me already. After the tear-soaked service, we headed to the reception venue. People shared stories, gave condolences, and there was food. Now, the will reading was supposed to happen during this time, and I had honestly given up on the idea of Carolina showing up. I was mingling, trying not to break down in front of everyone, when, lo and behold, who strolls in but Carolina herself? Thanks for showing up so early. Ha ha! Salty little girl. You've got quite the alcohol scent about you. Just a few drinks with a possible future flame. Seriously? And you missed your son's funeral service for it? Oh, come on, sweetie. I needed something to soak up the booze. I felt a bit queasy after all that. Carolina, I can't believe you. You could not be bothered to show up for Travis's funeral, and now you are here, drunk, for the will reading? Oh, honey, I don't do funerals. They're such a downer, but I'm here for the important stuff. She winked at me. The guts this woman had. I could not believe it. Carolina's behaviour at the reception was beyond belief. Nonetheless, it was time for the will reading. So I gathered everyone around. As the appointed executor, I took a deep breath and began reading Travis's will to the gathered audience. There was a hushed anticipation in the room, and Carolina seemed particularly eager. Ladies and gentlemen, as the executor of Travis's will, I'm here to carry out his final wishes. Travis left behind some assets and his thoughts on how they should be distributed. Additionally, Travis allocated a separate account for his mother, Carolina. In it, he left a sum of $5,000. $5,000? That is all he left for me? Travis, my boy, you truly were a poor soul, a loser even in death. Everyone was taken aback by Carolina's cruel comments. Carolina, this is not the time or place for such remarks. Travis had his reasons for what he chose to leave behind. Seriously, was he even a lawyer or just pretending? I cannot believe you don't have any property or savings, and he only had that little bit stashed away. It's like he was good for nothing. Looks like the poor guy died from poverty. You're clearly drunk, Carolina. You should leave. Oh, you bet I should leave. He was a lousy excuse for a son, and I don't want anything to do with him. As the hours went by, I could not shake the memory of the messed-up day. Carolina's heartless act as Travis's will reading still stung like a bad hangover. My sister Kelly came over, and we both vented our frustration and sorrow about Carolina, who had shown no ounce of decency for her own flesh and blood. Time kept moving, and I started thinking about the house Travis had bought for us. The idea of living next door to Carolina was just unbearable. I could not stomach the thought of it, so I decided to take things into my own hands. I got in touch with the real estate agent who had been dealing with Travis's house purchase. Luckily, Travis had not dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's before his unexpected exit. With the agent's help, I took charge of the keys to the house. It was a bittersweet moment, knowing that this would be our new home, but it was also a painful reminder of the man I had lost. One day I mustered the guts to visit the house. Emotions hit me like a train as I walked up the driveway. It was more than just a house, it was a mansion. Next door, Carolina's house seemed tiny in comparison. I did not expect to see such a grand house. As I walked through the door of my supposed new home, I couldn't help but imagine the life Travis and I could have built together. The pain became unbearable as I explored every corner of the house, haunted by memories of what could have been. I realized that I could not live there without Travis. As I stepped outside, determined to put the mansion on the market, I heard a familiar voice.
"What are you doing here?"
"None of your business."
"Oh my God! There was an open house here some time ago. Don't tell me you're the buyer of this place. It would be the biggest joke on the face of the earth with that crappy money your little financier left you. Can't you feel any sympathy for your own son? Who talks like that? Sympathy for that loser? I should throw a party instead. Carolina, can't you cut the insults? Travis is gone. Show a little bit of respect." "Respect, huh? Travis was a fool, just like his father. You and he made quite a pair. Are you living alone next door?" "Yeah, Frederic finally left. I could not stand him any more, and maybe you should too. This house is beyond your means." What Carolina said hit me really hard. It was not just the harsh words about Travis. It was the fact that she was his mum. Her comments kept replaying in my head like an annoying song stuck on repeat. It felt like she had uncovered a spot and poured salt all over it. So I did what I had to do. The plan to sell the house, that was gone now. I was going to move into the mansion so I could rub it into Carolina's face every day, to remind her how precious her son was, and she was the toxic and problematic one. So, within a week, I moved into that new house next door, not just because I wanted to show off or compete with Carolina's mansion, but also because I needed a fresh start. I started to look at things from a different angle. I was like, maybe this was what Travis wanted, so I thought I would do it for the both of us. Packing up my stuff from our old apartment was tough. Everything had a memory attached to it. A piece of Travis. I wrapped up his photos, his favourite books, and all those little knickknacks we'd collected over the years. When I stepped into the new house, it felt like a dream Travis was supposed to be a part of. The day I settled into the new house, I just knew what I had to do. I baked a batch of Travis's beloved blueberry muffins, slipped into a lovely sundress, and headed next door, ready to face Carolina. I wanted to give my dear mother-in-law the news myself. She opened the door. "Tamara, what on earth are you doing here? What is this?" "Hi, neighbour, I just moved in and I thought I'd bring over some muffins I baked." "How? When? Why?" "Let me break it down for you, Carolina. Travis bought this house for us as an anniversary gift, probably where he had used his savings." "Travis did that? Why didn't I know about it?" "Because, Carolina, you were too busy with your new husband and counting his money." "Tamara, I did not know. Of course you didn't. You have always been absent, from not visiting Travis in the hospital during his last moments, to skipping his funeral service and just showing up for the will reading. I made some mistakes. Some mistakes, Carolina! You have been cruel and disgusting. You ridiculed Travis when you found out he left you very little in his will. You did not even give him the respect he deserved. I never realized how much I hurt him until it was too late. Please, Tamara, I'm genuinely sorry." "Sorry now that you found out your son had some money left for you?" Love should have been unconditional. You know what, Carolina? Enjoy the rest of your life seeing my face every day as a constant reminder of what you did to your son. It has been a whole year since Travis left us. Time can heal wounds, they say, but it does not mean the scars disappear. I'm learning to carry on step by step. Carolina, on the other hand, is spiraling down a different path. It's hard not to notice her from my home, right next to hers. She's been using alcohol as her crutch, drowning her sorrows or maybe her guilt, who knows? I gotta say, every time we run into each other, she has a look of guilt, shame and regret, all at once on her face, and it is satisfying. I cannot help but feel a bit of sympathy for her at times. She missed out on so much when Travis was alive, and her absence during his darkest moments, and even at his funeral, is something I can't forget or forgive. One thing I have learnt through all of this is that being a bad person doesn't get you very far. Sure, you might gain some material things, but you lose something much more valuable. Yourself.
People who are dishonest, cruel, or selfish might seem like they are winning in the short term, but in the grand scheme of things, they don't last long. 'Tis the one who show love, compassion, and kindness who leave a lasting legacy. So my advice to anyone reading this is simple. Be a good person. It might not always be easy, but it is worth it in the end.